What's up? Welcome back to Real Red Talk. My name is Sam. And breaking news: Ruben Amorim has officially been approached by Manchester United to become the next manager after Ten Hag sacking this morning. I'm joined by Aaron and Dan. Guys, we're going to get your thoughts on the Ten Hag sacking shortly after this because I know you guys have had time to digest it and sort of come to it. But the first thing, I'm just going to read out a bit of the article from The Athletic and then we'll get your thoughts on it. So this was about an hour ago. Manchester United are working on a deal to appoint Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim as their new head coach. Sources in Portugal's have discussed that he's open to taking up the opportunity after Ten Hag was sacked earlier today. United are ready to pay the 10 million euro release clause, which is 8.3 million pounds in his contract, with the two clubs talk to finalise the deal that see Ruud van Nistelrooy take interim charge before his arrival. Aaron, of all the managers that were talked about this morning after the sacking, was Amorim near the top of your list, or was he one of the ones that you weren't sure about?
It's a strange list because I think you and Nick alluded to it. There's no real standout. I think it is more of a preference for people. Like there's none that you look at. Tuchel was that one, and obviously he's the one that got away. So for me, I was looking out the list. I was swaying more towards Thomas Frank, just because obviously what he's done at Brentford in the league. You know, we see it week in, week out, his style of play, what he can get out of players, what he's done with that Brentford side. So, but he was never a clear, like, you know, he was not the one I looked at and thought, yeah, that's the man I want. But, you know, the new man that they look to be bringing in, I know Liverpool were close to bringing in last year to replace Klopp. Basically, everything was agreed, and I don't know why it didn't happen. I think they'd agreed a 3-year deal.
City have looked at him as well. Yeah. Rumours because the Sporting Lisbon director's gone over there, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, and I know Liverpool had agreed a 3-year deal. They'd agreed a compensation package, but obviously somewhere along the way that it didn't happen. So you see how well-run Liverpool are compared to us. You know, you'd expect that, you know, they'd done their due diligence on him. And just, you know, when I read the article before that, you know, we'd open talks with him, I kind of looked into him because, let's be honest, none of us watch the Portuguese league. We don't see him week in, week out. And, you know, the first point that I kept reading in articles that, you know, his first thing is to be hard to score against, and then that's his foundation, and then he builds from there. So that's music to my ears, because I've been saying for months that, you know, the first thing we need to do is get organised defensively. His system sounds a little complicated, as in terms of it maybe would take a while to implement, but you know, we've gone so long without a style of play now that, and if he's going to come in now, let's be honest, we've got no expectations for him to finish high or to win a trophy. So I'm happy if we can get him in maybe like towards the next international break, and then he's got from like November to start for the rest of the season, just to start getting it in. So I'm just so excited, man. Like, we've had not great football for so long. You know, me and Chivy were probably the two in the channel that wanted Ten Hag gone in the summer, and I'm not saying you guys were wrong, because obviously everyone had their own opinion after the cup final. But
save your thoughts for that. We're going to get into Ten Hag, so
okay,
we'll get into that. Dan, are you surprised with how quick United have moved on this? Because literally this morning he was sacked, and then all these names have been chucked about, and now literally David Ornstein, who's as legit as you can get, has gone, we're moving for him and we're prepared to pay his release clause. Are you surprised at all?
Yeah, actually, I was when I didn't see the group chat, but after a couple of hours of the group chat, I saw like 42 messages. I just see what happened, and it's like Ten Hag is sacked. I was like, it was a shocker for me, because I was not expecting him, because the moment I was expecting was the last week when we dropped points. But I thought maybe after this, like they're giving him a kind of a run of games, and the last game was kind of down to that the VAR decision. So I was not that much. I mean, like in a thought that Ten Hag will be sacked this week. But yeah, shocker. But I think it's kind of in both ways. It's kind of a good, because we have given him a lot of time, a couple of years and more than that, and all the budget, all the money on, and all the whatever the player. Yeah.
Dan, like, we'll talk about Ten Hag in a minute. As like your thoughts on Ruben Amorim, like just how quickly we've moved for him. We'll touch on Ten Hag like shortly and get your thoughts on Ten Hag. But yeah, are you surprised at how quick we've moved for a new manager after like literally sacking one this morning?
Yeah, sorry, I got the questions wrong.
That's all
So,
right.
yeah, but yes, we had so many options, and kind of all the options were like equal kind of an option. But at this point, I'm not even concerned. I'm not even bothered. Just bring someone in, because when we got Ten Hag, I think I had very high hopes. So now this time, I don't want to have high hopes. Just want to bring in a manager who can. I think he's proven his actually stats are really good. But then I'm not going to trust the stats anymore until and unless the manager comes in and shows the change in the team. And yeah, I think pretty good option for us at this moment because he is kind of a proven manager. But we have a lot of options, and I actually personally had some crazy options in my mind, kind of Xavi or Zidane, because I have seen them.
Xavi wasn't
I know.
that crazy. Like it was being reported. Like Xavi's not that crazy of a shout.
Yeah, but the way they have turned their teams around and the way they have built, I mean, put in their thoughts and ideology in the team, and able to, I mean, that's what was missing with Ten Hag also. We know that he has that ideology, he has that, I mean, the tactical thing is there when he was there at Ajax, but he was unable to bring it that with the team, and he was unable to make that, I mean, replicate that, his ideology in the team. So that was missing, and that the same thing we are able to do done by, I mean, Xavi when he started his coaching career, he was able to do that. Even Xabi Alonso is able to do that. I know that they are very, I mean, in their early stages of their managerial career. But yeah, that was a crazy option for me because I wanted Zidane even before when we were getting Ten Hag, because I have seen, I mean, he has builded that midfield of Real Madrid multiple times. So that's where I'm more concerned about building a midfield, and we have all the players, I mean, all the star players from all around the world, and we are still not getting that midfield thing right. And because that's where we want to control the game, but that's not happening. But I hope that the manager we get, Amorim, I think it's crazy that with Radcliffe, I think it's not an hard decision to make because they have that money and they have that power to pull people inside the club, which they have already done. So I think it was not that a tough job, but it was kind of a selection whom we are going with because they have had some options, and I think Radcliffe has gone with this one, Amorim. I think at this point, one positive thing is that Radcliffe is not, I mean, fearful of sacking a manager when it is not going when the things are not going right, and that we have seen, and it's going to become a like of a trademark for all the other incoming managers. I mean, the Amorim, when he comes in, he knows that he has to perform and do something, otherwise he'll be going out. So that's a positive thing from Radcliffe.
Absolutely. I'm gonna read some comments and then we'll ask Aaron a couple more questions. David Harrington said, "Happy days." Said this in live chat this afternoon. I wanted him any other managers linked. Big coup managing to get him mid-season when Sporting are cooking. They're top of their league, sat 7th in the Champions League group ahead of the likes of Arsenal and Barca. My damn United, it's certainly ballsy and exciting move. If this turns out to be true, all the right names putting out there on board for the ride. Depends whether enough players are though. Joshua Owen makes the appointment sweet as this looks like the top target City to replace Pep because of Sporting losing director of football, which is what I touched on there. Matt Palmer, love Amorim. Damn United. Aaron's point of Liverpool getting as close as it did suggests we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves despite all the big names saying it's going in the right direction. And then Joshua Owen said the reason the deal collapsed is because the president of Sporting Lisbon is said to have changed his mind at the last minute and suddenly demanded 20 million euros. So apparently that's why the thing. The big question is, can the guy get some of these players to actually play, or will he get guys sacked like lots before him? That's the big question. And then my damn United just said 100%. Yeah. So Aaron, you said you just want to see a style of play, and you're happy for him to come in and sort of develop that. Do you think most United fans are going to have some patience come in after what's been going on in the last couple of years? Are they going to give him time, or do you need to see something quite quickly from this guy for the fans sort of to galvanise behind him?
I think we're going to want to see something pretty quick, but I don't think it's going to be results. I think, we've all said, when Arteta came in at Arsenal, when Klopp went in at Liverpool, they didn't hit the ground running in terms of results, but you could see what they were trying to do. I think if we can get that for a few months, even, if it takes a year, if it's going to be like halfway through next season where we start actually pick it up and get some momentum, then I think the fans will be happy with that, because for so long, all United fans, we've been saying it, even fans that like mates that I speak to are like, you know, we're regressing from Ten Hag's first season. We regressed. We tried his style. He abandoned it after like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
We went to a style where it was sustainable. The second like style of play that we went to that season, it actually suited us. Second season he abandons that, tries to go back to playing out from the back. Didn't really work. Changed it with like 4 games to go in preparation for City. And then this season, I don't know what the style was, because it didn't look anything like trying to play out from the back. It was like a weird combination of sometimes a long ball, sometimes holding onto the ball too long. And I think he ultimately just lost his way. And I feel like once you've lost yourself as a manager, then obviously it's hard to come back. But obviously I'll touch on that when we speak about Ten Hag. Yeah. But I don't think results are going to come, but I feel like if we can, by the end of the season, start and see like, you know, some sort of organisation and some sort of style of play, then I think the fans will be willing to stick with it.
Yeah. Dan, do you feel the same way? Are you, again, I think we'll touch on Ten Hag next, because I want to get both your opinions, but just for now on like the next manager, if it is Amorim, do you have that same patience? Or as a fan who is like not from the UK, not sort of Manchester based, are you a bit more sort of detached with it? Are you a bit more willing to give Amorim time, or do you need to see something like immediately?
I mean, I cannot. I mean, personally, if you hear from my side, is I want results for sure, because it's been too long. Like we have been like down the table. I just want to see at least top 6, somewhere around top 6, fighting for at least 4th or 5th position. Even now that, I mean, still a lot of points is there to play. At least some progression. But at the same time, yeah, we can. Any manager comes in, he has time for the first season at least, just to try his ideologies into the gameplay. But still, there is a very, I mean, less gap to lose at this point, because everybody is frustrated and they want results at any time. Personally, I want at least you win at least 60 to 65% of the games, at least, to just build up that confidence level on the manager. From there, he can pick it up, and that's where even I would like to, I mean, relay what even Aaron has mentioned about the playing style. At least we should have something to start with, because with Eric Ten Hag, at initial games when he started his managerial career in Manchester United, we saw something like he's trying to bring in some passing game, involving every team to pass and just build the attack. But then after the few games, it died down, and it became like a just kind of all over the place, and we had never had a style of play. But every team has its own style of play, but Manchester United has been like, I mean, for the last 5-6 years, we have not seen a style of play. But yeah, I think we need to see something, at least some positivity, to just build upon from that, because that's where you can see like all the others, because every summer or every winter transfer window, you need your other players outside who are there, who they need to see something of an progression in the club. Then only they can come in and have a play in this club. But with Ten Hag, it was missing, though he got so much of amount of money, and then he was spent in the club, and but that thing with the player is not there. But the players are there with more capability, and the potential is very high. And this is the right time, I think, to, I mean, there's a, I mean, kind of a phrase in Hindi, mostly said that when the iron is at its right point, you have to hit out on that very good point. And
Strike
that is the point, because we have.
I think the English one is strike when the iron is hot. Is that the? That's
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah. So, so I think the time is right, because you have all the players who are very young and with high potential, and you need someone, kind of a manager who can just build on that, and that's what we need from a manager. And hope Amorim able to successfully lead this team.
Cool. We're gonna get into the lads' reactions on 10. I get your comments in, get your likes in, and stuff like that. I'm just gonna read a couple more comments. Nick Knight, the squad's been getting worse every time Eric's had a transfer window. Got that song in my head, Team 99. That's Amorim. There's a chant already. My damn United, the fan base needs to see a clear path. More importantly, we need to see players buy into it for more than 5 minutes. I agree with that. And then there's a couple of like stats and sort of like a little bit of history on Ruben Amorim, like if people are not aware of who he is. So Amorim emerged as Europe's most sought after young managers after success with the Portuguese club, with United moving in quickly to making their #1 target. He was in contention to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, like Aaron mentioned, before Arne Slot got the job. Also held talks over replacing David Moyes at West Ham before later apologising, calling the meeting a mistake. Interesting. He won the Primeira Liga title in 2021 and again last season, while also winning the Taça da Liga, which is the Portuguese League Cup, on 2 occasions with Sporting and a third time with previous club Braga. He's built a reputation as a coach known in fielding young players and in improving individual player performance. So that screams great to me. That's exactly what United needs in a minute. Midfield is playing career. He's a 3-time league winner with Benfica and won 14 caps for the Portuguese national team. So yeah, it seems like he's got a decent pedigree. He's all about like blooding young players, improving players, but individual performances is exactly what we need. But the one player that we'd all say wasn't improving players' performances was Eric Ten Hag. Aaron, give us your thoughts on the sacking, how you felt after it, how you feeling now. Is it similar? Like just what are you going through like when it's happened?
Yeah, so I honestly didn't expect it to be today. Even though it feels a lot like overdue, I didn't think they were going to make a decision soon.
I don't think any of us did, mate. Nobody did.
I was kind of thinking more on your wavelength, thinking it would be the next international break if anything was going to happen. But it just all happened so quick. Like, I listened to TalkSport in work because I'm literally working in a room on my own, so I just have my headphones in. And they were talking. Alex Crook came on talking about the sounding out potential candidates, and I thought I don't really trust the source, so I just kind of just got on with it.
Yeah.
And then I remember I literally went to go fill my water bottle up, and I looked, and I'd literally seen like 2 minutes ago that obviously, that I can't remember who reported it first, that it looked like it was going to happen.
I think Romano said they're discussing it and it's a possibility, and then literally 5 minutes later.
And then like Ornstein and we had a club statement literally in line with Ornstein's, and I was like, what is going on here? And then I don't know, I felt a bit weird after it happened, like, because I started looking at myself then, like weirdly, because obviously I've been quite vocal about wanting Ten Hag out, and kind of like I felt a bit sad in terms of this is the first manager since Fergie that I've kind of give up backing. I've never give up on him. Like Moyes never gave up on him.
I mean, you didn't get time with Moyes, did you? He lasted about 7 months.
No, but there was like them games where I can't remember what game it was, and we had like nearly 30 crosses and like nothing came of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember people like, he needs to go. And I was like, no, I've always backed like the manager and said, oh no, it's the players. But this is the first manager where I kind of like felt like I'd had enough of them. So, and don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Ten Hag. There was nothing personal. It was just.
I don't think any of us do. I think we all wanted him to succeed. We all liked him.
No, I feel like some journalists were getting personal about him. Like, some saying that he looks like he wears his dad's suit type thing to the press conference and shit like that. But no, it was never anything personal, and people say he wasn't charismatic enough. I don't care about stuff like that. But it was just, like Dan said, it was progressively getting worse. Like after he'd been backed every time, it was like, and I feel like since the Crystal Palace defeat last season, that felt like his Watford.
Was that your point where you were like, I'm done? Is that when you switched off?
Yeah, I was teetering on that already, because I found like when Chivy was saying that he wanted him out.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, it's a bit harsh that, and then as weeks were going by, and he was saying it again on the channel, and I was hearing it every time. I was thinking, I can't. I'm starting to not like disagree with him.
Yeah.
And then I was teetering on it, and then that Palace performance, I was like, nah, that felt like the Ollie Watford game.
Sure.
And then obviously we got the FA Cup, which was the perfect time for me, like for him to bow out on a high, you know. And again, like, just a shame really, because I feel like the next manager now is going to be stuck with a bunch of Ten Hag black book players, which obviously it's no fault of Ten Hag. You stick with what you know, or people that you think you can trust who can help. But I do feel like it's partly on Ineos because they didn't get rid of him in the summer.
Yeah,
I feel like by backing him again just for these little, like, for the months that he's been here now, you've kind of created a deeper hole because, you know, the new manager might come in and not want any of these players that he's bought in the summer. Like, he might not want a Xerxes style striker. He might want an out and out number 9. And I feel like, you know, I'm more disappointed in Ineos really with Ten Hag because I feel like they've delayed the inevitable and they created maybe another potential, more of a clear out for the next manager, a bigger reset by backing someone and then getting rid of them after how many games has it been? 8 games, 9 games?
Yeah, 8, 3 European games, Carabao Cup in, and 8 league games.
But no, I wish Ten Hag all the best. I think he will manage again. He probably will manage successfully somewhere else. He's probably going to have to rebuild himself a little bit after this. Sure. I don't see him landing a big job. He's going to be maybe go back to Holland or maybe get a team where...
I mean, Ajax are in the shit at the minute. Maybe he goes back. Maybe he goes back there.
There's a way back there. But outside of outside of Ajax, I don't see him landing something like a top team. Maybe like a mid-table team somewhere.
It's only down after United, isn't it? Like, there's no up after United. Like, so I think it's down. Dan, sort of similar question, really. What were your thoughts like after the sacking? Like, how did you feel? What point were you like at the point where you wanted the manager gone? Like, which game was it where you were like, hey, I can't continue with this? And then, what were your thoughts after he was let go this morning?
Yeah, so in the last few games, I've already, when he came, I really wanted him to be a successful because when we had those few options when we were going for a manager before Ten Hag, Ten Hag was my only option because we know that the players we had in the team and the style what Ten Hag plays completely suits us because he's more like kind of a 4-4-2 formation is his favorite, and we were almost playing that formation. And but even I till last season, till even this summer, I was hoping that Ten Hag will be able to change the situation, turn around. But I think with the games that has been we have been playing and the decisions, especially the decisions of substitutions and the team selection, especially in the last 3-4 games, has been so terrible, especially with the Ahmad situation. So after that, I have decided like we have to move on. We have to get something new because it's not working out, and his arrogance has played in more in the recent few weeks, where he is unable to make a change and come out from what he has already decided. So he has he became like a stiff-necked. That could be more negative kind of a word, but like something he knows. We even the fans who are watching the game, they knew like that there has to be something change to be done in the game in the middle of the game, and we even shouted for the players. These players needs to come in and change the game. But in the last game, when last game when Mazraoui was playing as number 9 and number 10, so that was the case when I felt like we need a change because Ahmad is sitting on the bench, and what that guy has to do to come on and play for United, and he has already shown his qualities, but he was not picked up in that moment as well. So that was the moment when I felt like we need a change because this is something not working on. He's trying something which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I felt a little emotional because when I heard this news, because I really wanted him to succeed in United, but it was not working out, and he was one of my chosen one when we had the option. So I had kind of a more I was leaning towards him more just for him to succeed and bring us to a place, and I wanted him to stay for a long time. But it was not working out for the last couple of years, and we didn't get the results which we usually used to get. Now we are like even worse than a mid-table team, and every game it's like we are not sure. Like there used to be times with Alex Ferguson. I still remember, like when I started watching Manchester United and became a fan of Manchester United. When Ferguson was there in charge, I used to know, like whenever I'm going in for a game, I know that this game we are definitely going to win, and it's just the case how many goals we are going to score. So that was the case with United in that time. But now it's like every game is like you're not sure like whether we'll be getting some points out of that game or not. That's where we have come down to. It has to be improved. But yeah, good kudos to Ten Hag. Wherever he goes, he might succeed, because Manchester United is kind of a very big. That job is very big and huge and very full of pressure, and the place where you already in the team already there are players whose head weight are high. So you need a kind of a better man management, and I believe that with Ten Hag, he's more successful with the players who are very young and ready to change their ideology, and ready to take the commands, and that was not possible with United, because with United you have already top big players who are not generally, those big players are not reluctant to change and seek the advice and give themselves to the manager. But that was missing, and I think wherever he goes, where he gets that proper set of players who are willing to give themselves completely to the manager, that's where he can be more excelling. Maybe that, as we mentioned about the Ajax thing. But yeah, happy for Ten Hag, because this was not working out. This was becoming like more negative environment. So it was good that it was, because in the next coming games were not easy. So because Sunday we are going to play against Chelsea. So I think that's going to be a toughest one. So I think this was a good time for him to leave as well.
Yeah, I was going to read a couple of comments and then last couple of questions, and we'll get out of here. My damn United, Leachy Yoro Delit would be awesome back three if he comes to work with his fruition. Amorim has worked with Agate, he has at Sporting Lisbon. Dallo would be more suited to a wing back role if the back three does come in. He's always had defensive switch off in him. Yeah, don't speak to Aaron about Diego Dallo. He'll be here all day. Nick's in the chat. No guaranteed Aaron will work out either, by the way. Risky move for Minos. Yep, this is definitely a thing. He's also said Aaron record 9 wins, 30 goals scored, top of the league, flexible tactically, and wanted by Liverpool and City, is like Aaron touched on. My damn United, agree on the structure. Our commitment to Eric Tag is his wages, which is a monthly payment that we can continue. Not sure what in terms of Aaron's buyout is, just going off early reports. But I've just seen a report from Sports Witness. Apparently, Amorim has got a release clause in his contract, but for only 7 clubs, it is 8.3 million. So Manchester United are one of them. The others are Madrid, Barca, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Man City, and Juve. So if any of them come in, it's 8.3 million release clause. If anybody else comes in, it's 16.6. So that's just, I've just seen that. Ten Hag back to Ajax, I reckon, with David Arrington. Nick saying subscribe. Absolutely. There's like 20 odd people in the chat. Please do subscribe if you're new here. UTFR, why do former coaches struggle so much? LVG, Mint with Holland, Eric Ten Hag, Ajax, so good. Jose, Mint. Seems to be bottle tactics at United. Let's hope Amorim sticks to his game. Let's see. Amorim completed his coaching badges with Jose at Man United. Did he really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Lindelof and Amorim played together at Benfica. Agent Lindelof working wonders. I don't know if I believe that, but fair enough. UTFR has got a comment that Aaron would agree with. Diego Dallo would be great on the bench. Aaron, thoughts?
Yep. Or better off someone else's bench, not United.
Did you see Aaron did join Liverpool? He said maybe I'll go Man United a few months down the line. Looks likely. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we'll do a last couple of questions and we'll wrap up. Aaron, do you think the United job is a cursed job? Do you think anybody could succeed here? Or do you think now that Ineos are here and the structure and all that is now built for success, but obviously Ten Hag wasn't their man, they needed their own man to come in to build success? Or do you think this job is just like cursed and just nobody's going to live up to this Fergie sort of legacy that's been left behind?
No, I don't think it's cursed. I feel like every manager has had their own challenges. Mainly, Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho was definitely not being backed. Ollie, you know, he hit the jackpot really, didn't he? He was never meant to be there. Overachieved when you look back, and
Absolutely.
I thought he actually did a good job. Like, you know, to say the job's cursed, Ollie did really well with
great football under Ollie. Yeah, really good football.
Probably the best football we've played post Fergie. You know, a lot of people say the Ronaldo decision was his downfall. Like, was it his decision? I mean, obviously, we'll never know.
I think he was forced upon him, wasn't he? He was forced upon him. That decision.
Yeah. And then we landed with who came after him? Ranić.
Yeah, that went well, didn't it? For 45 minutes at Crystal Palace, and then just absolute shit.
And then it was just a disaster after that point. And then Ten Hag came in, picking up the pieces after that. Obviously, he had the Ronaldo situation, the Sancho.
Yep.
Abandoned his style, which I don't think it did him any favours in the long run. Like, you know, I know we just spoke about him, but, you know, I remember saying, and, you know, I'm not saying I'm always right or whatever, but from my point of view, it's like, you know, if that's your style of play, yeah, you might enjoy like a season of terrible, but...
Do you think you had to deal with the pain for a bit at the beginning in order to get it through?
Yeah,
and do you think because he's then tried to go back to it, that's probably what's cost him?
Yeah, because, you know, I don't know, say for example, me and you are building a house, weird analogy, okay, but, and then I say, no, we'll do it this way, we'll lay the bricks this way, and then we encounter a problem, and then we switch tactic, and then halfway through, when we've built the house halfway and it's getting stable, me going, oh no, we'll go back to how we originally did it. You're going to think, fuck off, this is working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you build, the foundations were thrown away. We built something else, and then we tried implementing something again, going back to something that didn't work for the 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately cost him. And then whoever comes in next has got a job to do. But Ineos, you feel like it's hard to judge. For me, I think they've stalled. I couldn't think of the word. They've stalled on this decision, which doesn't really put them in a good light. But working with their man, who they go and get, there might be more willingness. And I think Ineos do want to succeed, bringing a manager that will succeed. And I feel like I'm going to sit here probably in a year's time and be totally wrong, but I feel like one of these managers has got to come up good. One of these like things that we've got to try, because everything else has just been a dud. So surely you've got to hit lucky at some point, you know. And it kills me that Arsenal bringing Arteta, inexperienced manager, it works. Arne Slot, we never heard of him, it works. Surely for United, I've got to hit one of them.
Chelsea, they brought in a championship manager in Enzo Maresca, and it's working 2 months, and he's got it.
So surely something has got to work. Something has got to give, and you know, hopefully this appointment is the one.
Dan, sort of last question, similar to what I just asked Aaron. Do you think under Ineos a manager can succeed? Like, I think if this was the Glazers appointing somebody else, I would just be like, he's not going to succeed. It doesn't matter. But do you think the Ineos is going to be the difference? Like Aaron said, eventually we have to hit somebody that works, and Ineos is going to be the difference. Like, it's their man. And then they'll probably take, like, obviously Ten Hag had a lot of power before Ineos came in, and they couldn't take that away from him, which is why they just did the optional extension rather than a new contract, because they wanted to take that veto power away from him. So I'm going to assume Ruben Amorim is going to come in, and he's not going to have the same power that Ten Hag had, because Ten Hag was a manager and he's going to come in as a head coach, so he can just focus on the pitch, tactics. That's that. Do you think he's more likely to succeed than any other manager that's come before him?
Yeah, I think he has more chances of being succeeded, because previous managers just had the backing of the board. They had the backing in terms of the money, because we were still buying top players at that time. But we were not utilizing the resources well, which can be seen now that we with Ragnick and sorry Ratcliffe and team are just whatever the people they have brought in the last few months, that really shows that this club has the intentions of becoming a top club. And the environment that Ineos has provided for a manager, I think it definitely will work out well with the coming manager, because they have done a lot of changes to prove to us that what their intentions are, whether they are good or bad. But we can still decide, like they have the good intentions, because the people they have brought in top players. It's not like they have just chosen somewhere but they have gotten people from very top positions. You can see from City thing and with the Newcastle thing. So the intentions are clear. The manager has the backing, but I think they will not give him the power still at this point, because still it's not clear like whether he's going to succeed or not. But once they feel like the manager has given them the confidence that he has the ability to change this thing around, then I think slowly Ineos will be giving him the power of making decisions on whether it be a player buying a new player or making some changes in the club. So I think that's going to be the key even in this time, just to kind of when you say like a probation period for Amorim, just to prove himself like you are capable enough. But yeah, this definitely shows what's in Ineos intentions are, regardless of the money they have spent in, and regardless of the money that will be involved in the future as well. They wanted to succeed at this club, and which is kind of a positive for us. And because that's where, even with Ten Hag, I get that with Ten Hag they have given him a lot of time, but that is also down to because previously we could see we were telling like the reason of Ten Hag not being successful is because of the board. But now when the board is there and the everything facility was provided to Ten Hag, and he was still unable to progress and in this league. And but at one side also I have some kind of in favor of Ten Hag. I would also have to say that he has also faced a lot of different situation when he came in. He had that captaincy thing going around with Maguire and Bruno Fernandes. Then Cristiano Ronaldo thing happened. Then owners change happened. So
Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, Mason Greenwood, and in between Anthony as well. So, and in the last 1 year, God knows how many injuries we have gone through. So it's kind of these kind of things has really affected his his abilities to bring in that team. But yeah, as with the Manchester United thing, we cannot be relying on these kind of reasons for sure. So I think with Amorim, the hopes are high, the demands are high. I hope he succeed.
Yeah.
And also with Amorim, I think the stage is properly set for Amorim, because his favorite playing formation is 3-4-3, something around like that, and we have that back three in Martinez, De Ligt, and Euro.
Yep.
So I think all the three defenders are kind of tenacious defenders that can fit in that 3-4-3. With the 4 and the 3 with the wide wingers we have in Garnacho and Ahmad, and Højlund, kind of who looks like a more traditional kind of a striker. And then in behind we have Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte, and the other players are there to fill in the spot. So I think the stage is properly set for Amorim. Just to see how he can be able to switch it up.
Absolutely. I think we're going to do a video on like how he sets up and tactically and all that stuff, so that'll be interesting. Last couple of comments, and then we'll get out of there. If you've got any questions in the chat, chuck them in and we'll answer them. Chivy saying Aaron with the Casamat fade. You happy with that, Aaron?
With the what?
Casamat fade. Casamat Chiev.
Okay, I guess it's on about my hair growing out, my beard.
Yeah.
I guess, it is cutting, man. Long overdue. Ten Hag coming.
James McGrogan, regardless of who Ineos bring in, the players need to respect one way or the other. The new manager has the presence, makes the players stand up and listen. The Glazers wouldn't have gone for Potter already. Turds, I don't think Ineos stalled. I just think they just didn't want to get the wrong manager. Reports have stated Amorim is going to be a head coach, not a manager, which is what I touched on. Ineos have also had 3 offers rebuffed in this summer. 2 years at Arsenal. Wanted Arteta out. They had the ball stick with a man because you could see the style he was trying to play. Had the owners listened to their fans, he would have been gone. Thank God no one's talking about Southgate. Oh, God, thank God for that. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
yeah.
Can you imagine me having to come on here and talk about Southgate becoming Manchester United manager? Fucking Christ. My dad, I'd quit all interactions with football forever if that happened. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with Joshua Owen that Amorim plays fullbacks are massive with his tactics. Don't know why people kept that Southgate nonsense going. Ornstein and Whitwell said he was never a candidate, ruled himself out. People believe too much nonsense. Yeah. There would have been riots if Southgate was employed. Absolutely. Ten Hag bottled it and then became delusional from the UTFR. I can see Eric Ten Hag being sacked has been overturned by VAR. Jesus Christ. No ways, Leach in a back three. He can't defend the wide channels. Maguire, Delict, Euro is the better back three. Another one who comes in who still has Rashford for another 3 years. Same with Bruno. No left back and plays like Maguire and co. There's split opinions in the chat. Split opinions. But yeah, lads, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on. Ruben Amorim is reportedly in talks to agree a deal with Manchester United. If he does become Manchester United and it's official, we get a club statement stuff, we will go live. Check out our video earlier today with me and Nick about Ten Hag being sacked this morning if you want all the information and stuff like that. Follow all the socials. You'll get notifications when we do go live. Make sure you got subscribed and the notification bell on. Leave a comment, your thoughts on Ruben Amorim, your thoughts on Ten Hag. And then, yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow or maybe later tonight, depending on how quick this goes. Because literally, Nick went live for pros and cons. And during while he was live, this happened. And then literally the same thing happened. He tried to do pros and cons at 12 and 10. I got sacked. So something could happen literally within the next 2 hours. So put the notification bell on and you'll be up to date as much as possible. Lads, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Always. We'll see you all tomorrow.